Hi, it's Kamon Reynolds, and we're going to do something different today. I haven't done this in years, maybe since Laurel and I first got married, and I'm pulling some bees out of a tree that was just dropped yesterday. And it is a very unique situation. You just never know. I mean, I zip by through here every now and then, and you know, on the main highway back there, and you just never know where there's might be some bees in a tree. But what we've got right here is, we had like tornado warnings and all that kind of stuff last night. I threw a tarp over it. Thankfully didn't get a lot of rain. It did cool down a lot. And I threw a little bit of a heat shield in here because there was some brood exposed, and we wanted to make sure that we save as much of the brood as possible. That next generation is so crucial for the health of this colony. And so I'm going to cover that up real quick. We're fixing to dive down in there. I don't have a chainsaw of my own. It looks really rotten. We're going to see just how deep it is, and we're going to stick it in an apame hive. And the reason for that is because it's insulated. Also because I just wanted to try it out, and it has these sections right here. We're going to have some rubber bands. We're going to cut out some combs and place it in here. With the wind chill, we're in the 50s somewhere like that. So my main concern right now is preserving the brood. As soon as we get this thing in, we'll be able to take it home. That's another nice thing about the apame, is it's all put together. Lid, everything insulated. So it's going to be easy for us to move to the house, and we had it. So that's just going to be really handy. But we're going to stick them in here, and I'm really excited. I usually don't do this kind of stuff because we don't have time for it. We can make our own bees, but since it was local, and since it looked pretty easy to get to, and I checked it out yesterday, we decided we'd do it. So here we go. All right, we are ready to go. I am not a professional at cutouts or anything like this. I've done several before in the past, but there are those who are really skilled at it, and we need people to do that kind of thing. I prefer just fooling with my own bees, but look how rotten this tree is. At some point this tree was coming down anyways. Just an old softwood maple tree, the type that love to get in your septic tank. All right, let's pull this back. You can look at all that brood right there. That's why we had a little bit of a heat shield over the top of them to hopefully keep that brood alive. And hopefully we can do the same today. Boy, that's rotten. You know, I've been catching some swarms around here in my swarm traps. Just, you know, I'll throw a couple out a year, places I frequent a lot. And I wonder if some of them have been coming out of this tree. Because I usually have ones about half a mile from here. Wow, this is just so rotten. This is going to be really interesting. I've never done one at a rotten tree like this. Might not be as rotten as I think, but alright. I'm sure there's going to be about 50 different better ways to do this in the way that I'm doing it. Here we go. Alright, so there's a little comb right there. My main concern is protecting the brood. Keep in mind, wow, look at all that pollen right there though. Lots of Bradford pear pollens, henbit, dead nettle, dandelion pollens, probably some maple pollen leftovers, because we have multiple types of maple trees and types of family relations of maples that bloom. Look at this right here. You can kind of see the layers where it's packed in there. Can you see that, Laurel? It is really cool. I want to see if I can pull it out. Some organic stuff right there. Oh wow, look at that. I want to eat it. This is the real stuff right here. Nature stuff. I'm going to be so much healthier now. You notice I threw the bee in there? I lost half of it. That is bitter, sweet, and kind of chalky. Ooh, and now I'm more bitter. Now I got the back of my tongue. Oh. All right, let's get to these bees. They're acting pretty docile so far, which is really nice. Man, if it's all this easy to pull out, there's some crushed bees in here where when the tree fell down. Hopefully the queen's in good shape. I don't know how many's in here or how far back it goes. I know it goes all the way up. I mean, you can see up at the top of this branch, there's comb up there, which is probably from last year or the year before. Who knows exactly. During honey production and colonies, when the colonies get really large. You know, we're still in the middle of March right now. All right, this is an important comb right here. So let's get to it. Man, if they can just all come out like that. Oops, sorry bees. All right, let's see if we can find the queen. That's the first thing I want to do. Look, we've got like little pieces of wood on top. Wow, look at that coverage in there. Oh, good brood pattern. Oh yeah, these bees will be pretty nice. All right, let's see if we can find the queen on this side. I've got a queen cage for her somewhere. The thing of it is, a colony like this is likely going to swarm within a few weeks, I would say. But there's a lot of variables to that. We've had a lot of pollen coming in. This is where it's going to get tricky, getting this into those frames. Got crushing a lot of bees and damaging some brood. It's going to happen. It's going to happen to a degree. All right, let's get the knife. You know, a lot of, check the other side. Okay. Most of the brood is in this area for sure. Now, if you're wanting a fast-paced video, this is not going to be it. This is going to be like surgery. With the doctor who's like, this is his first patient. That's why they call it practice, right? Alright. Laurel's rolling her eyes at my jokes already. Haven't even hardly got started. Go about right here. You know, I could just lay this down. You know, that's probably what I should do, is shake the bees off. It'll make this a whole lot easier. It's just going to be hard because the combs are, you know, this is why we have frames and whatnot. All right, there's a lot of drone comb on the bottom. Lots of drones over here. So if we're going to damage stuff, we're going to go for the drones first. Okay. We're going to lose stuff. There's just no way around it. Small hive beetle, they're not supposed to be in here. You know, and some of the brood juices, the ones that go in the hive, the bees will consume that and recycle that protein, a lot of it anyways. Excuse me, bees. Sorry. This is one of the reasons I don't like doing this. Alright. Keep that over there. Like that. Go about right here. Laurel. Oh yeah, never mind, I know where they're at. Probably should have brought a table out to do this on. I guess we could use the hive lid for this. Get it all nice and beautiful. That actually helped. Alright, so we're going to get this debris off of here. I didn't cut that very good, did I? We'll have to cut them just a little bit. I was wanting to make it real pretty looking, but we've just got to get going, so we don't have time for this. I've got a delivery of pallets of worth of bee stuff showing up. I got a sign for you in a little bit. Or I'll make Laurel do that, I don't know. This is one of the reasons why I don't like doing cutouts, is you got to damage a lot of stuff, and then there's a lot of risk of, you know, you got to get the queen, you end up crushing bees. There's just no way to hardly go about it. I mean, you can get a vacuum and do it like that, and that's a little bit easier, but there's that right there. House too thin, but whatever. So we're going to stick that in here. Probably what I'll do is let this hatch out, get the queen in another box with some drawn comb I already have, get her laying up in there, and once all this is cleared, I'll probably just melt this all down. Once all the brood's out of it. Where is the... Ah, there they are. So we got some rubber bands right here. We see you in that truck. I'm not gonna mess with you. So just take this rubber band, there's one. Okay. Now what I'm gonna do, let me grab that lid real quick. Nothing like a loud dog. All right, watch out, Laurel. Let's stick this over in here. See if we can get a good spot for this. Okay, so this is mostly drone brood. There's a little worker brood over here. Honestly, I don't know. I'd rather sacrifice a little bit of brood than try to save it all and end up not having enough coverage. So there's that over here. Let's go ahead and shake these off into here as much as I can. These are coming from this direction, so I'm just going to set these combs off here to the side so they don't start landing on those. They go back. Try to get them condensed a little bit more. That's always the trick. They're really gentle though. Look at those bees. That's great. Good disposition. I haven't had to smoke them that much, especially for being dropped yesterday. I'll take it. Okay, get this branch out of the way. It's more like a tree growing inside this. That's crazy. Well, wow, that tree's been rotten for a while. Let's see what we can do here. We got a couple layers. I've connected it to the wood in a bunch of places. Thankfully, it's so rotten, it's just falling apart. There's termites all in here. Look at those termites. Cohabitation right there. Maybe that's the secret to varroa mites. You need your equipment being eaten by termites, and they'll take care of some of the varroa mites at the same time. I seriously doubt it. All right, let's see if we can find that queen. Really don't want to damage this comb if I can help it. There's tons of brood in this one. I mean, I'm gonna have to damage it a little bit to cut it, but let's see here. I'm not seeing her. You guys let me know if you see her, okay? Let's see if, oh, that's just gonna come right on out of there. Does it get any easier? Not really. I'm gonna smoke them just a little bit more. I had a couple pop my hands a little bit. I've got bee gloves, and I recommend you guys do the same. Every one of these is different, man. You'll get some that'll just staple your socks to your ankles like I had in the other video. And then you'll have some like this, and it doesn't necessarily make sense. A lot of things can happen. Boy, this is barely hanging on. I really miss my frames right now. There's just not enough structure. I know if I shake this hard, it's just going to fall apart. Trying to see if I can find the queen in there. Ooh. There's a reason why we don't do this, Laurel. This is tedious. Alright, there's not a whole lot of, there's hardly anything up in here. So if I'm going to damage it, this is the place to do it. Go over there and cover that brood. Cover it up. This is, I've never had a cutout that was this easy. Now see, if we had a regular laying straw, I should have brought some of my wooden frames, because some of these are bigger than I thought they were going to be. We probably could have stuck those in there like that. That's okay. It'll be just fine. Yeah, something like that. Got all this wood up in here. They've attached it to it. Bees are really good at just making homes in a lot of different places, rough places. As long as they have a good queen, they don't have a lot of pest problems, and they have good nutrition, they're going to do pretty well. All right. You know what? We'll just stick this in the other one over here. So we've got quite a bit of bees still down in here left. I had to take a break for a second, get mic'd up. We were having some interference and just different things going on. We've got one frame tied up so far. I should have brought a table or something to cut this out on. I'm just wondering what we've got up in here before we get into more of those bees. I'm seeing lots of combs, lots of dead wood. I'll dig more into that, I guess, in a little bit. Let's go ahead and just work on getting the bees out. You know, when we're killing, I'm sure we're crushing a couple bees. Several were already crushed with the falling of the tree falling down, and I'm having to cut up some of the brood to fit it into the frames, and that's just part of it. But if I leave these bees here, they're going to be killed. That's all there is to it. Oh, we found a squirrel nest up here in the top a little bit, and they were run out when this tree fell. But it just goes to show you nature. You got termites in here, honeybees. Who knows all what's in here? This one's, I think, a little better attached. Squirrels, all kinds of stuff. Yeah, that newer wax. It's a good thing I'm a short guy. This would be really difficult. Oh yeah, they've got that attached pretty good up there. Oops. All right, now I can see a lot better. I have to cut all this off, so I'm gonna smoke the bees away from that top just a little bit. I'm thinking the queen's going to be either on the opposite side of this one or on the next one over. I already got stung on the finger once. There we go. Oh, yeah, they're fanning their wings. I'm already coming into wood. Oh, that's beautiful. I'll show you here in a second. I got to get this comb out first as carefully as possible. Lots of drone brood over here. Lots of drone brood. We're not going to save any of that. Looks like a pretty small hive cavity. Still haven't found the queen yet. I'll go ahead and shake these bees in. So I've got this little board up here to kind of help keep some of the heat in. They're not going on that brood over there really good. Real quick, just check for the queen one more time. It's easy to miss, especially in hives like this where the combs are all curved around and whatnot. That's why we have bees in frames. All right. Notice how small this hive is. You know, probably swarmed in last year, maybe from a dead out, maybe it swarmed a couple times last year and it's still alive. I don't know. But usually, the ones I see are pretty small overall. Now that's just me, but I've seen some really large ones too. But I'm thinking that the bees, as more and more they deal with the varroa mite and these problems, they're going to keep smaller colonies and swarm more often, breaking up the mite cycle, which will help keep the honeybees alive, but they're not going to be huge, robust colonies like the ones that I have in the videos that are well taken care of and can produce tons of surplus honey. So you're probably wondering, why I didn't cut any of this out? Well, this is almost all drone brood right here. And so if we're going to sacrifice something, this is the first place I'm going to go. There's a lot of varroa mites in there compared to other places statistically. Drones aren't going to help them with this stressful period that they're experiencing. You know, they can help warm the brood nest up, but that's about it. So we're not going to really focus on that much. I wonder if it goes further on back there. I don't know. You can see all this wood right here, and they've just propolized it all up. I see bees going back in there. I might need a chainsaw. Hopefully not. How to proceed? Let's move this out of the way. Put my board back over here on this Apame hive to keep it warm. I think I'm going to have to start ripping some things apart. There's some bees up in there. Oh, I'm sure they love that. I think I got one crawling up my pant leg. How in the world did that happen? How are my pants tucked into my boots? Yep. Well, there's not a whole lot of comb left up in here. Makes me wonder where the queen's at. We know the comb goes all the way up into here. Makes me wonder if she could be up here somewhere. We're gonna have to do some digging. All right. I really hope we can find her soon. There's a bunch of bees hanging out over here. Let's look at this log. Let's see if we can spot her. Oh wow, look at all these bees out here. A lot of them are outside on this side of the box. You never know, queen might be one of them. Buried in all that. Likely she's on a comb. Trick is going to be getting those bees off of there, because I want them in that Apame hive. So what we're going to do is maybe a little unorthodox. Hopefully this isn't too heavy. I probably need to put on some gloves for this, because I'll mash something. There we go. Get out of there. Tell you what, I thought for sure they wouldn't get up in there. That's why you tie things down, folks. I haven't put on a set of these in it's been a while. Whew, they make these too long for my short arms. I can't get up to the hands. Ah, for Pete's sake. Forget it. Strain a muscle. You guys can tell I haven't done this a whole lot, have you? It's been a while. So what we got? I've got an axe if we've got to break some of this open. There might be a bunch of bees in there. Let me get that smoker alarm. Let me do what I was going to do to this big one right here real quick. Oh, there she is. So she just ducked away right in that pile right there. Kind of a reddish, amber looking rear end. Beautiful. We get a lot looking like that around here. I remember the first swarm I ever caught had a queen just like that. Kind of a reddish brown. Oh my goodness. Is there a hole right there? Oh my goodness. I think she ducked down in between the crack. No, no, there she is. Okay, Minnie, you missed it. Get out of the way, bees. A lot of times you don't get them on the first shot. Gets a little more fun. Trying to straddle these trees at the same time is not enjoyable. Man, she's moving quick. Got her. All right, is that gonna stay? No, it's not. But she could, there's several cracks right there she could have gone through. I want to show her off a little bit. Now there she is, and we're gonna stick her in a queen cage really quick. That's awesome. All right, we have the queen. I had to go get a queen cage because I forgot to stick one in my pocket. Went ahead and got a green marker from last year because more than likely she was mated last year, so I'm just taking her and I'm going to paint the thorax. If you don't know, you got of course your head, your thorax, then you have your abdomen down there. Holy smoke, she was sticking her stinger out. Easy there, girl. I've never been stung by a queen before. Boy, wouldn't that make a great video? Can you see that? I've never seen a queen stick her stinger out except when one was crushed or something. So we're just taking that and we're just rubbing it right there. You definitely don't want to get it on her eyes or her antennae because then that could mess with her production. But dots, it won't hurt a thing. I'm going to stick her in this queen cage right here, just a JZBZ queen cage. Stick her in head first. Just kind of let her just kind of from behind. Just come on now. I haven't had that much trouble all year, last year, from a queen getting in there. There you go. Poor thing, I held it for a little while. She's probably winded a little bit, scared out of her mind. All right, now we're going to take some of this beeswax here. And we'll release her real soon. There's no reason to keep her in here long term, except we just don't want to crush her or anything while we're moving the bees. So whenever I get to our home yard where we're going to stick her, we'll release her out of there because there's no introduction period needed or anything like that. All right. And I'm just going to stick her down in here. Oh, I'm sorry, Laurel. Now there's a bunch of bees right there. You know what? I'm actually going to stick her over up against this brood. I really want these bees to get on that frame. They're really rattled right now. That didn't probably help at all. I probably should have done it like this. Oh well. They'll figure their way out. When we're done, we're going to close this up. We're going to set it over here, and we're going to take away all of their comb, all the branches, and that way this will be the only thing they have to go for. Queen's going to be in there. All the pheromone, hive smell, it's going to be in there. So we should be good to go. All right, now we got to check up into here. We got a ton of bees over there where we found the queen. I'm going to shake that off here in front of the hive real quick. And I don't know what I did with the cap on that. There it is. We're going to have stuff all over the place here. Now I got to see if a bee went up in there. Fixing to find out. Nope, we're good. All right. Now we have bunches of bees. And that's a lot of good bees right there. We need to get that inside the hive, if at all possible. I love the smell of bees. Oh yeah, fun, fun, fun. Well, that makes it a lot easier. You didn't know your husband was that strong, did you? It's breaking trees right in half. All right. Now we got this bit right here. You know, it might be a good idea. Try not to walk over in here too much. We'd like to not crush any. Open these entrances. Let them start walking in there. There they start going a little bit. Let's see how quickly these will go in. Look at all that debris. Ah, look at all that junk. That's some really good dirt right there. There's just bees all in the air. Once we get rid of all this other comb though, I think it'll do a really good job of pulling them into that apple hive. All right, now we have a little bit of comb still up in here. I don't know how much. You can see how the bees are all wanting to fly back to this area. I'm going to leave a link below for this hive tool right here and this style of apame. There's a few different ones out there if you want to look at it. You know, there are a lot of people get on to me because they're a little pricey. You know, it's not like I use them for all of my equipment, but I think they're interesting. It has a pollen trap on it and everything. I like to learn and try new things out. Wow. Okay, there's a lot of brood up here between these frames. A lot of crushed bees. This took a lot bigger of a hit than that other cavity. Thankfully the queen was not between these or she would be crushed. Very fortunate. Okay. I'm going to have to dig out some of this. Aim that smoker to your right, Laurel. Lots of termites. Very fortunate that the queen is not damaged. It seems like everybody and their brothers mowing their lawn today. Oh wow. There's all kinds of damage crushed up in here. Cut that. There's honey up here. You can see a lot of crushed bees. Lots of pollens. Sorry if it's loud with the microphone. I've got a lot of road noise next to me. Okay, here's some brood. This brood's no good. Lots of crushed bees in here. So fortunate the queen was not up in here. You know, there's just not a whole lot I'm going to be doing with that. You see struggling bees, dead brood. It's a bummer, but you know, we'll see if we can salvage the rest of it. I think we can. Wow, it's still going up in there. Calf brood, young stuff. I just don't know how viable any of this is because it hasn't had any bee coverage. And last night I think we got down in the upper 40s. Of course the tree does provide some insulation. All that bee heat would normally rise and go up the branch. But since it was the way it was, we did put the tarp down, which is better than nothing. But I just don't know how much of that would be useful. Looks like we're getting up into honey, which makes sense. That usually goes up towards the top, and we know that there's comb up here. We'll probably take this whole branch section to the house and cut it open. That'll be really interesting. Wow, it's just all rotting away. All kinds of roaches and different things up in here too. Oh, look at that honey. Looks like it's a little darker. I mean, a little bit doesn't look that dark, but you know, if it's that dark on a hive tool, then it's probably going to be pretty dark in a jar. Not that I'm planning on jarring any of this up or anything like that. Yeah, there we go. Got some honey now. Boy, what a mess. Let's keep digging through there a little bit. I'm thinking I'm just kind of curious to see what's up there a little bit. But it doesn't look like there's any bees up in here hardly. And what little bees there are dead. I think we just need to move this out of the way, quit sidetracking this, all this comb and stuff. Get the bees just with the apame over here, have them go in there with their queen. I'm going to try some of this honey out real quick. It's going to be delicious. Looks like there's a termite on that side of it. Extra protein. Some countries really like that stuff. Yeah, that's a little dark. Totally our fall honey. Strong, got a goldenrod taste to it. It's not going to keep me from going for seconds. That's good. I really like our spring a little bit better, but this is probably a mixture. I don't know exactly all that it is. Whatever it is, that is good. I just need a piece of warm toast right now and we'll forget about finishing this video. I'm going to be eating. Alright, seriously though. We're going to cut the video for a second. I'm going to pull this branch and stuff out of the way and then I'll kind of show you how it ends up. Thanks for watching. Alright, so we have got the bees and the apame for the most part. You can see how they're kind of going down in there. A lot of the forager bees are still figuring things out, but keep in mind, a little over 24 hours ago, they were up in a tree, minding their own business, and you know, the folks had no idea there's even bees in there. There's just so much stuff blooming right now. I don't know how many bees are in here necessarily. A bunch of them are still finding their way in, but this tree's just so rotten. At some point, this tree was going to fall. And it was a lucky thing that we got here because it's going to rain a bunch this week. It was completely exposed. And this whole section right here, which the thumbnail very well could be part of this right here, you can just see where there was just combs going all up that little cavities right there. It's just amazing that they can survive in something like this. I just blows my mind. So let's get in the hive and see what they look like. So I've got the queen in there. She's in her queen cage. We've salvaged not really that much comb. A lot of the brood was crushed in the dropping of the tree, but that's all right. We got a little bit of brood. Check out this section right here. I forgot to show you. It's just, that was what was going up that round part of the trunk. There's a few bees on here. I'm going to try to shake a few more in. A bunch of foragers keep coming back and landing over here. And one thing I want to point out is look at all this dark comb. Look at all this crushed brood up in here. There's just tons of it. Just all this. It's no good. Small hive beetles have probably been laying a lot of this stuff. There's a couple things to watch out for. You know, the thing I want to share with you as well. Okay, so number one, there's a decent bit of honey, especially in this right here. I'd say there's at least a good 15 pounds. I mean, that thing's pretty heavy. And there's some other stuff in here. However, one, I don't want any potential diseases to get around my bees. I mean, we are going to bring the bees in, but we're not going to like be feeding back any of this honey or this pollen. I'm not too concerned. I haven't seen anything crazy. But there's definitely going to be a period where I'm going to watch this colony and really be careful with it. You know, if I see any issues, you know, like American foul brood primarily, then you know, something will be done about it. I'll probably be treating with oxalic acid vapor once I start seeing the queen laying a little bit. Probably give them about a week, come in there, hopefully the queen's laying. I'm going to give them some drawn combs. And then I'm going to probably hit them with oxalic acid again. I'll also be feeding this colony. You might think, why aren't we feeding this back? We could a little bit. I just don't think it's worth it. I got plenty of honey if I want to feed it back. I'll just be melting this wax down primarily. Check this out. This is one thing I wanted to make you aware of. A lot of people get ticked off at me when I recommend that when beekeepers have their first year or second year or whatever year colonies and combs, when the colony dies, they don't like it when I recommend that you should reuse the combs again. Now look at this comb right here. That's in great shape. That comb's pretty young. This comb's probably a year-ish. And then some of these are older than that. It's really hard to tell, but they were obviously using them. Swarms and wild bees, stupid small hive beetles, get out of here. Nah. They use old combs all the time, and look at that mold. They'll clean that out. It's been up in the top of that rotten tree, and it happens. And bees, thankfully, are able to clean all that back up. Now, I'm not going to be using any of this. I'll just melt it down. We'll make some candles out of it and all that kind of stuff. Let's check inside the hive real quick. That's just something to think about. Be careful potentially bringing back diseases and stuff to your apiary. I probably should put my veil on for this, but I'm too lazy. Ooh, that's heavy. A little bit of bees on there. But look, there's not a ton of bees in here. I mean, if you added it all up together, we're probably looking at maybe 2-ish, 3 so pounds. But they've covered that brood really good. Hopefully all that brood will be saved. We got the queen. We got these bees. It really wasn't a lot of work. That's the only reason I wanted to do it, is I thought it'd be kind of neat to do. And it looked like it was going to be really easy. I didn't have to get the chainsaw out. I basically just had to pull everything out. We were very fortunate. Very fortunate that the queen wasn't crushed with all that brood. Get off of me. And here we are. So this has been fun. I haven't been able to do anything like this in a while. A lot of cutouts are harder than this. We could have, in the time that we spent coming over here looking at it, putting the tarp on it and everything on the second trip, then coming back the next day, which is today, and doing this, we could have put a lot of effort towards raising a couple dozen queens or something like that, which we're going to be talking about that in our live chat video tomorrow night. And but anyways, if you have any any questions or anything about what we did here, I'm going to leave those in the comments below, and I'm going to pin some stuff up in the top of the comments. Thanks for watching our videos, and if you want to see some professional cutouts, this is not the channel for that. Thanks for watching.